I didn't know if I wanted to make this video or not because, well, first of all, I don't have the time or the space this summer to do so. This sort of time slot that I have right now was just by chance. So I pre-recorded all of my summer videos. The only summer video thus far that wasn't pre-recorded that had me in it was the last one, the Walmart one. I promise you I'll get back to filming weekly. In August, right now, the two people in my house are in my house all the time, and there are very few select days in which they were both gone at the same time, and I can then record. And I knew that was gonna happen, hence why my thinky brain was like, hey, pre-record all your videos. And I was like, good fucking idea, Nick. Goddamn genius. I didn't know whether to make this one or not. Just because a part of me is just like, some of y'all don't deserve the response, I guess. You don't deserve me to care. I'm running on like less than 2 hours of sleep. I got a whole coffee over there, it's a good time. But I also think this video is super important because it'll cover a lot of different topics so there aren't any confusions in the future. I'll probably end up putting timestamps in the description of the different rants so that when someone comments something fucking dumb, you could possibly comment them the video and the timestamp of this video, and all will be solved. I'll probably end up doing so as well. I'm kind of doing this so we're on the same page, and honestly, it's catharsis. Might as well. Some therapy, if you might. I'm gonna be looking at the unpopular opinions comments, which I would like to preface that a lot of the comments were actually really good, and I was super shocked by that, I guess. I actually expected it to be much worse than it actually was. So thank you for having brain cells occasionally. Critical thinking skills are very important, and I applaud you guys. Wow, I'm gonna leave the voice crack in, fuck it. However, much like I assumed would happen, there was some dumb shit. Just realized that the turtle's filter was going off the entire time. I'm not refilming. I'm not doing it. I'm too dead inside for that. Enjoy turtle water noises, I guess. I turned it down a little bit. I didn't turn it off. I love him. Attacks on me ad hominem don't affect me much, just because nobody can be as harsh to me as I am to myself. None of you can even compare. I win, bitch. However, what does get to me are logical fallacies and just misinformation. It gets to me because it frustrates me how someone could have come to that conclusion, even though it's very obviously dumb. I'm gonna have several different rants in this video. First thing I want to address, before we even get into the comments, this was going to be an entirely separate video, but I decided, fuck it, it is a very appropriate situation to talk about this. Opinions do not inherently deserve respect. Opinions are not human beings with feelings and thoughts. They do not inherently deserve respect. They are not their own entity. There are opinions such as, I don't like the color red, and then there are opinions such as, I don't think white privilege is real. One of these hurts people. If your opinion hurts people, your opinion can get shoved up your ass. I don't respect that opinion, and I will never respect that opinion. If your opinion is part of the problem, I do not respect that opinion. If you don't agree that Halsey can't sing, hey, that's your own thing. That's cool. I'm not like God that can decide whether or not people can sing or not. That's just my own preference. When you start undermining people's lives and existences, etc., all the respect goes out the window for you. You can literally go fuck yourself. I won't deal with it in this household. I will not. In this household, we do not respect opinions that make the problem very much worse than it already is. Anyways, let's get into the dumbassery. My favorite ones were the ones that were like, you're filled with hate. Like this one, you're filled with hate, dude. You should take like a hard look at yourself. This comment makes me laugh because it's like, there's a difference between being filled with hate and telling people not to be a shitty person. So now we can't tell people not to be shitty people? Oh, you murdered someone. I guess I can't tell you not to do that because then I'd be filled with hate. And there was several comments like that. I think there was another one, it's probably on the computer somewhere, where it was like, you should have more self-awareness or whatever. And I was kind of like, dude, I'm literally the opposite of most of the people in those comments. The amount of self-awareness was 0 in those comments, and my self-awareness is like at unhealthy levels. I personally think there needs to be a nice medium between the comment section and me, because I have so much self-awareness that it's taking a toll on my mental health. Nobody can be as critical of myself as myself. I am hyper aware of everything I do, and I am constantly trying to change and be perfect for the better. I understand that it's not possible. There's also ones just like, why so aggressive? I don't know, dude. I'm just sick and tired of shit. I'm tired of people getting all of this support, all of this money, having all of this power, and they've done nothing to better themselves, and they are just shitty people overall. I'm just kind of tired of it. Of course I'm angry. I'm angry at everything. The world kind of sucks right now, dude. People have no critical thinking skills, and it's very, very frustrating to me. Of course I'm angry. I had this random comment that I put in there. I'll answer it anyways. Do you like iDubbbz? I love your content, even though I don't agree with most of the things you say. Keep it up, pal. I don't like iDubbbz because he thinks he can say the N-word, and his logical process to get there was, people can say faggot, so why can't we say the N-word? iDubbbz, you can't say faggot. That's my word. I'm a queer man. I can say that word. You are a straight pile of garbage. You may not say that word. Who told you that you guys can say faggot? Who said that? Who said that? Nobody said you could say that. Therefore, your logical reasoning is kind of shit. You may not say any slur that you cannot reclaim, and you as a straight cis white boy don't have any. You do not have any slurs because you are not oppressed. Jesus fuck, man. Also, when people say shit like, I don't agree with most of the things you say, that kind of sets off my fight or flight response, because there are things that are like obviously okay to disagree with. Like, I don't know, maybe you think my lyrics video, you were kind of like, I think lyrics are fine the way they are. I mean, that's okay, I guess. I can't, like, make you think lyrics are shit. And then there's things like, hey, straight women need to stop fetishizing the gays. That you can't disagree with, especially if you are not queer. That's literally like, if you disagree with that, you're a piece of shit. Ah, yes, gay men are now straight women's porn because we wanted rights, but I guess we're now objects. Literally, fuck you. It's kind of like that. Like, where are you? What do you mean by that? And it always sets off my fight or flight response. I swear to God, because I'm kind of like, what the hell do you mean? Like, there are certain things you can disagree with and I won't bat an eye, but there are other things where it's kind of like, you have no say in that. You have zero say in that. That's not your topic, fuck off, kind of thing. So, I'm just putting that out there for the future. This one I wasn't necessarily mad at it, but I want to make something very clear because, you know, agree with most of them. Forgiveness is still important though. If someone has actually changed and proven that time and again, I feel forgiveness is needed. Some of you actually think that I'm like a part of the toxic part of cancel culture. I don't think completely canceling someone usually is a good idea, obviously, because people can grow and change. However, some of you seem to think that these people immediately get another chance. That's not the case. They need to prove themselves before they get another chance. It's not just, oh, you messed up and you've done nothing to fix it and you keep doing the same shit over and over again, but I forgive you. No, they need to prove that they've changed and fixed themselves before we can forgive them. You can't just forgive right away. And for most of y'all, it's not even your say whether or not they get forgiveness. For instance, in terms of like the racism stuff, it would be disrespectful of me to say whether or not somebody is forgiven or not because I'm white. That's a black people issue, whether or not they want to forgive them or not. That's not my issue. and in the end, my opinion on that matter is kind of garbage. With this person in particular, we had a little conversation with it, and we kind of came to that agreement where it's just kind of like, there needs to be like consequences for actions. You can't just forgive anyone, but also like, people do change and etc. The thing about Melanie and Timothy is that Timothy chose to speak on the issue on Twitter instead of going to the police or something which seems shady. And also, right after released her first single, which kind of sounds like a ripoff of an unreleased yet leaked Melanie Martinez song, Night Mime. Here's the thing. Well, first of all, that first part of your argument is invalid completely. Do you understand that police don't give a shit about rape victims? Police don't give a shit about rape victims. Police do nothing for rape victims, especially if it is like in a gay situation. A lot of times police just end up like verbally harassing these women and just being shit to them in general. Like the police process for rape is never a good process for the victims because police are shit. The police act like such shit to these people. And I don't blame her for not going to the police and going to Twitter instead because she may not have wanted to press charges because the police are so shit. So that argument is completely invalid. She would get more justice going to Twitter than she would going to the police, and I think that says something. Whenever I see that argument, I'm just sitting there like, do any of you know how this works? The police don't give a shit about anyone but straight white men. Also, I never said in the video that Timothy was a good person. I don't think Timothy's a good person. There is some shady stuff involved, but there's also nothing that could discredit either way or the other whether or not the rape did happen. I don't know if you guys looked at the update comment on the video, but there are way too many factors to factor in. I do think it is very possible that this girl was raped, but then used that to her advantage. I think that is possible. The people saying that she made it up to get attention for her career, I would also say she could possibly be getting attention for her career with something that could have actually happened. Anything is possible at this point, and there is just not enough to discredit either side, unfortunately. Like I said in the after editing of that video, it is very difficult to prosecute rape cases and or have a definitive answer on them. But I'm telling you right now, most of the time, which is about 1 to 5%, the scholarly articles tell me 1 to 5%. So it ranges depending on the scholarly article and what they did the study about. But my research tells me 1 to 5% of rape accusations are false. And even so, barely any of the accused go to prison. If they do go to prison, it's because a white woman accused a black man. That's not because of the false accusation. That's because the judicial system is fucking racist. Because if that black man were a white man, he would not have gone to prison. I forgot the other dude's name, but for instance, Brock Turner. Probably knew this was coming. Brock Turner had all the evidence against him. All of the evidence against him. There was literally no way to say that he didn't do what he did. And he only got prison for 3 to 6 months. I think it was only 3 because of probation or whatever. But there have been several cases of black men going to prison for a rape they didn't commit, and even the evidence saying that they did not do the rape. They would still go to prison and waste like half their lives there. So what I'm saying is, this isn't a false accusation thing. Men really aren't in danger of false accusations. Men are in danger of racism. Just putting that out there. Okay, so there were a lot of people citing about 21 Pilots carrying around a pride flag at their concert. I would just like to point out that just because someone's carrying around a pride flag doesn't necessarily mean anything. Like, I guess, thanks for carrying it, not being ashamed of carrying it, but it's also kind of like, we also don't know what's at the deep core of their character either. They could just be doing it because there are a lot of queer 21 Pilots fans, and they're trying to manipulate you. That's more of an opinion thing, I guess, for queer people to discuss. There's something about them. It's the gut feeling thing. They're also kind of a pretentious sad boy aesthetic that I can't get over, dude. It's kind of obnoxious, but whatever. The one thing that I will fight you on is Lane Boy is in fact racist. A lot of people pointed out that the only word in the song that could possibly point towards being racist was the term hood. And after pointing that out, there were a couple folks that said, well, you're racist if you think hood inherently means black people or people of color. No, that's just how it is. First of all, hood is African American vernacular. The term hood comes from black people. They made that word. So that word is inherently associated with black people because it's their word. I know, crazy, right? Most of our slang is made by black people. Another thing, it's very, very true that hoods are mostly made up of black and Hispanic people. That's not racism. Those are the facts. And that's not because black people and Hispanic people do not have the capability to not be in a hood. That's literally not what that means. I will do a whole video on my economic views in the future that will piss a lot of people off. Black and Hispanic people mostly are in the hood because capitalism is racist. Part of systematic racism is that everything in capitalism is geared against people of color. They aren't in the hood because they aren't capable. They're in the hood because white people made it so that they would have to stay in the hood. This isn't you're racist, Nick, because you think black people are poor. No, black people are poor because the system is racist. Why can't people critically think? That's what I want to ask. Why can't people critically think? But anyways, getting back on track, with that being explained, it just seemed very egotistical for 21 Pilots as rappers to say I wasn't raised in the hood, but I know a thing or two about pain and violence. First of all, you guys, you aren't the only rappers that rap about mental health. There are a lot of black rappers that do so. Not all of them talk about physical pain from the hood or whatever. They talk about mental health issues too. You guys are not special. Take the ego down. As a person that suffers from like 3 mental disorders, I understand what it's like, but I'm not just gonna go around being like, you don't know pain. I know pain. Aside from like the racist shit saying that like other rappers, which are mostly black if I'm being honest, don't talk about mental health issues and etc., and that 21 Pilots are the only rappers that do that. It's egotistical, a little racist, and not gonna lie, I kind of want to stay away from that altogether. They just give me the white boy vibes, okay? They give me the white boy vibes, and I don't like it. White boys are literally the scariest human beings on this planet. Okay, there were also a lot of comments. To be honest, I think I invited these comments, just the way I worded things. I think I was just kind of like inquiring, hey, is Brendan Urie changed? A lot of comments were like, yeah, Brendan Urie's changed. And I was like, I'll take your word for it. To be fair though, Brendan Urie wasn't like a real example in the video. I did kind of know that he changed a little bit. I'm kind of wary just because of my trust issues of these people now. But in the end, it wasn't like a real example. Using Brendan Urie was kind of ethos. It was rhetoric. It was me saying, I hold everyone to the same standard, whether or not I've liked them in the past, or now, or not. I have unstand people that I really, really liked because they did some stupid shit. I will not support bullshit. So I'm just putting that out there that Brendan Urie was more used for rhetoric reasons. I would also like to point out that a lot of people were going, actually, in the comments. And they were like, it was about his first threesome. Girls, Girls, Boys was about his first threesome. That's most definitely true, but you do realize that both the things that we're saying can be true, right? Like, it's not just one or the other. Because I remember very specifically there was a barsexuality instance, in an interview with Brendan Urie where he explained girls, girls, boys that way. So what I'm saying is it's probably both. Both these explanations are true. I completely support you in your point, but sometimes just tearing celebrities down who also do great things is bad. At least mention it. Also, look into the interviews with Timothy. She smiles about it. She dresses up as Melanie after all that happened. Just because people have also done good things in the past does not make up for the fact that they've done a shitty thing in the present. If you are continuously racist or misogynistic or whatever, or you've raped someone in your career, good things you've done in the past do not make up for that shitty behaviorism that you keep doing and or have done. Because, I don't know, there's like shitty behaviorisms, like little mistakes, then there's fucking rape. Even if someone donated billions of dollars to charity, if you murder someone in cold blood, you're still a shit person. I don't know how to explain this to you. Like, if you've raped someone, no amount of good deeds that you've done in the past can make up for that. Or if you're continuously racist, etc., no amount of good deeds in the past can make up for that messed up part of yourself. I hate stuff like that. Like, yes, people do good things, but sometimes if you're just continuously doing bad things in a certain area of your life, then those things do not make up for it. You need to specifically fix that part of your life. I'm sick of it. Nobody has like critical thinking skills. It's obnoxious. This one made me laugh. This video is so fucking pretentious, OMG. I actually kind of liked your content before this, but you're just one of those fucking cancel culture people who don't think people can learn and grow past their screw-ups. You act like your word is above everyone else's and that you can say nothing wrong, but you don't even fucking do research before you spit bullshit out of your mouth. Making mistakes is part of being an adult, which you wouldn't even know because you're a stupid teenager. Actually, I'm 18. It's pretty obvious why people like Trisha Paytas. It's because she's a troll who's not afraid to show her vulnerable side and make fun of herself. People respect that. Just look at all the support iDubbbz TV gets, even after saying the N-word several times. People like trolls. They're funny and they make you forget about the stupid Tumblrettes who get offended every other day of their life like you. Also, you barely elaborated on why you don't like 21 Pilots. It honestly just seems like you're extremely envious of all these famous people for their fame. Also, so many of these instances where you don't like these people is either A, because you don't understand them or understand the context, or B, you have a biased opinion about them because you're so deep up Tumblr's ass that you get offended by everything and anything that sounds even slightly off to you without questioning what someone meant first. The fact that you're too fucking lazy to source any of your objective opinions is just pathetic to me, and don't even pretend you don't know that. It's probably just because you don't know your opinions are biased as fuck. Also, you stupid bitch, the whole entire reason innocent until proven guilty is because there are people out there who fucking accuse others of rape who haven't actually done anything, and the whole reason was just to get rid of that person they didn't like. Do some research on false rape allegations and just learn how long you can be thrown in fucking jail for rape. It's fucking serious. I'm not going to deny that rape victims deserve their voice heard, but there has to be proof. If everyone just took everyone's word for everything because someone was calling themselves a victim, we'd have a real fucking problem on our hands as a society. Just pathetic, man. Pathetic. Oh boy, there is a lot to break down here. To address the first part of that, I do not agree with the toxic part of cancel culture where people don't think you can learn and grow. The issue with most of these people is that they haven't. Like, there are people saying that they have learned and grown, but they really haven't. Like, once again, they do not get another chance right away. That's not how this works. They need to learn and grow properly before they can do things. A simple word apology is not good enough. It's just not. Anyone can do that. Anyone can apologize verbally. It doesn't have to be genuine, but then people will just take it. After you do something that's like racist or misogynistic, etc., first apologize verbally and then do something else, like donate to a charity. Show continuously that you are actively trying to improve yourself. Uplift the voices of marginalized people by using your extensive platform. Just things like that. You need to continuously show that you've learned. You can't just forgive them. That's not how this works. My word isn't above anyone else's. Whether or not you accept what I'm saying is completely up to you. Like, in the end, I can't change how you think. And I recognize that. However, there are a lot of people that have thoughts that are just logically invalid. Like, it's not necessarily that my opinion is above everyone else's. It's just that I have put in more time, effort, and thinking into my opinions and etc. I don't just shit out opinions. And there are a lot of people that just look at something and go, no, that's not how that works, friend. You have to like think about it and like look at other viewpoints and etc. The issue is, it's not necessarily that my viewpoint is above everyone else's, it's that like my viewpoint is more polished than everyone else's. Because unlike everyone else, I've spent years and years and years perfecting my viewpoints. I've seen every viewpoint. I've taken what is valid and I've discarded what is invalid. I've done my research and I've thought about things logically. I've talked things out with people. I usually do not just shit out things like some of you do. And I'm just sitting here like, your opinion is both useless and harmful at the same time, if that makes sense. Because there is so much falsehood in your statements that I don't even know where to start. So it's kind of like that. It's that weird situation where like, I'm not necessarily an infallible God, but also in comparison to the lot of you, or some of these dumb bitches that I'm responding to, you have no critical thinking skills, is what I'm saying. Nobody has critical thinking skills. Nobody has critical thinking skills. It is so exhausting. Called me a stupid teenager, and I guess it didn't hurt me, it made me laugh. Because I mean, like, technically I am a teenager still, but I'm also like 18. So you're wrong. Age does not tell you whether or not somebody's opinion is valid or not, whether somebody's logic is sound or not. I have met plenty of adults 40 and over that cannot create a coherent sentence to save their life. Age is just another one of those things, because I think there is a physical age, but I also think there is a mental age. And a lot of you have the mental age of a 13-year-old. And it's kind of sad that all these adults have the mental age of a 13-year-old. Also, as for the trolls comments, yeah, people shouldn't like them. People shouldn't like Trisha Paytas and iDubbbz, because they're assholes. If you are supporting assholes, you are first of all telling people that they can be assholes and be successful. And B, you are supporting an asshole. Like, I feel like that's logical. Like, I don't understand why I have to explain this, but if you're supporting a douchebag, you yourself become the douchebag because you're supporting the douchebag. You're giving the douchebag money. You're giving the douchebag power. You can be funny and entertaining without being a douchebag. I hate to break it to you, edgelords, but you can joke around and not be disrespectful. It's actually really easy. Y'all are just lazy as fuck. I also love when people cite Tumblr and offended, like the term Tumblr and offended whenever shit like this happens, right? Tumblr is a shithole. Tumblr is a cesspool of bad. There are full-on Nazis on Tumblr. There's a whole pedophile ring on Tumblr. Dude, fucking kins are on Tumblr. There's like fandoms for school shooters on Tumblr. Like literally fuck Tumblr, dude. I don't support Tumblr even a little bit. There are some smart people on Tumblr, but my god, Tumblr as a whole is just a cesspool of shitty. Don't even like equate me to that bullshit. Keep me out of that. I don't want to be near it. And also the term offended. It makes every person that's saying, hey, don't be a douchebag, out to be like a raving, angry lunatic that's just crying and sobbing into a bowl of ice cream. I don't think offended is necessarily the right word. Because I'm not like offended necessarily. Because offended would require some more reaction in my mind, I guess. I don't know. I guess it's just kind of the connotation of the word. I'm calling people out for being shitty. I'm not like sitting there crying about it. I'm saying, hey, don't be a douchebag. Here are some people that are douchebags that you can avoid. I don't know. I feel like that's just a little too calm to be the term offended. That term gets thrown around a lot. I don't think you guys understand the connotation of it. Or you do understand the connotation of it, and you don't understand how people are actually reacting behind the screen. Because usually it's not in like an uproar of offense. It's usually just kind of like, I'm so sick of your shit, dude. I'm so tired. And then I didn't elaborate on 21 Pilots because like, that would take way too much time, and I didn't want the video to go over 30 minutes. So I didn't elaborate on a lot of them because once again, it was an unpopular opinions video. I felt like I didn't have to show the logical process for literally all of them. But I guess I do, because nobody has critical thinking skills. Nobody's got a brain cell. Woo! Woo! We're missing brain cells. I always love it when I call people out for being shitty, or like somebody calls somebody out for doing some shitty behaviorism that hasn't been resolved, and like these people come out going, you're just jealous of them. XY, no correlation. Holding people to standards and like giving people consequences for their actions isn't really about whether or not I'm jealous of these people. That just seems like a cop-out sort of argument when you don't have much better to say. When all of your other arguments are shit. It's just kind of like a cop-out way of insulting someone, which I don't really feel insulted. I just wanted to point out that that argument's kind of funny. Like, it's just kind of dumb. This isn't about their money and fame. This is about how they're still shitty people. And this person keeps saying I have a biased opinion on them. Biased opinion is kind of like you're repeating the same word twice. It's kind of like, really, huh? But yeah, when somebody's like misogynistic, racist, transphobic, homophobic, of course I am not going to be too nice. I'm not going to be too nice or not be wary about this person. Because people are shit, dude. Of course I'm going to be biased against them because they did dumb shit. Also, a lot of the times when people say, like, you don't really know what they originally meant, I usually do know what they originally meant. Also, I didn't source any of my opinions because, once again, I can't believe I have to repeat this. Google is free. You're the one that's upset about it. You know, you could, like, use your fingers and type. You are not my teacher. You do not have a master's degree. You can go fuck yourself. I'm not writing you a bibliography because you can't use your fingers to Google shit. I don't owe you anything. Also, as for the rape victims thing, we'll go back to this. People don't actually go to jail for rape. Does it happen sometimes? Yes. But most of the time in real cases, oh God, what was the statistic? 3 out of every 100 rapists go to jail. Real rapists don't go to jail. So what makes you think people being accused of rape that haven't raped will go to jail? And if it does happen, once again, it's because of racism, not because of the false accusation necessarily. Because if that person were a white person, they wouldn't have gone to jail. But because they're black, the judicial system was like, hey, fuck you. I hate that argument. I hate that argument. Rapists literally don't go to jail ever. How do you guys not know that the judicial system hates victims? And also about needing sufficient evidence and whatever, you do realize that in most rape cases, there isn't a lot of ways to get sufficient evidence. Especially in cases where women didn't go to get the rape kit done at a hospital right after it happened. There is a lot of factors going into this. In the end, it is really difficult to prove rape cases for or against anyone. I have not met one woman, not one woman, and or someone who presents very feminine, I guess, for the non-binary pals who have a naturally feminine body. I have not met one of those that have not been sexually harassed, if not assaulted or raped. I have not met one. All of them have, whether they know it or not. There's a lot of internalized misogyny going on here, where women will think that it's completely okay for men to do shit like catcall them. That's objectification, dude. That's harassment. But you don't see it as harassment because the patriarchy has told you that you should and you will accept that as a compliment, even though they're literally objectifying you and being creepy and scary about it. There's a difference between a compliment and being weird. You're weird, dudes. Dude, stop being weird. So there's just a lot of shit going on. There's so much shit going on, dude. Humans are complicated and we need to address that. Ooh, that one took a long time, but it was a long comment and there was a lot of dumb shit in it, so. I agree with all of these except for the Eminem one. He has openly said he's not actually against the LGBTQ plus community, women, or people of color. However, I do not want to argue, just putting this out there. Just because someone says that they're not against these groups of people doesn't mean they aren't against these groups of people. I can say openly that I like asparagus. That would be a fucking lie. I don't like asparagus, but I was able to say that out loud. And I can say it with a very convincing tone. That does not make it true. In situations where people have fucked up in the past, they can't just use their words to absolve them. They need to use their actions, etc. And from what I know, Eminem has not done that. He's kind of a douche. A lot of people in power, the oppressor, if you will, which would be Eminem, say that they aren't racist, misogynistic, homophobic, etc. But in reality, they are, by the way they speak, by their opinion. You can tell they actually are, even though they've said they aren't. Just because someone says they aren't doesn't mean they aren't. I feel like I shouldn't have to explain that, but I guess I did. Just kinda seems really uptight. Ah yes, calling people out for being shitty is super fucking uptight. Man, we should just let everyone be shitty. Ah yes, let's just let everyone go wild and kill each other. That seems like a great option. No dude, you need to have standards. None of you have standards. It's like kind of sad. Because if humanity as a whole doesn't collectively have standards, people won't get better. If you just go, humans are like that. Psh, people make mistakes. They won't get better. I feel like I shouldn't have to explain that either. Why so angry though? Because people suck, dude, and I'm sick and tired of it. Nobody has critical thinking skills. Nobody has the ability to respect people properly. Nobody wants to acknowledge the complexity of the human mind and the complexity of the systems we have in place that are oppressing people. Nobody wants to acknowledge things because everybody's fucking lazy, and I'm angry about it, obviously. I look at the world, I see all of the problems, and people just completely dismissing them and or trying to play devil's advocate, which fuck you if you play devil's advocate. Literally fuck you if you play devil's advocate. I don't want you near me. When you see something that other people don't, and this thing is hurting people, but other people cannot see it, it is frustrating. Of course I'm angry. I'm angry all the time because the world is an awful place. And it's just so frustrating that nobody has critical thinking skills. Nobody has fucking critical thinking skills. I just want one brain cell. Just one. Just one singular brain cell. Assault. James never assaulted anyone. I don't like him, but please don't call it assault. That makes actual assault look less serious. That's fair, actually. I'll recede on that one, that's true. I think when I was recording the video, I was super, super tired, which is why I forgot a lot of things, and I had to put it in post. Sometimes it is very hard for me to speak aloud, especially when I'm running on 3 hours of sleep, and the term harassment kind of evaded me. So you're right, the correct term would be harassment, not assault. Not all rich people are bad. This was only one comment, but I fucking hate it. It uses my pet peeve, which is saying not all. Yes, all rich people are bad. I will not fight with you on that. Once again, I will make a video on my economic views in the future. But if you are hoarding the wealth from the lower and middle class, you are shit. If you are hoarding wealth that you do not deserve, by the way, don't fucking fight me on that. Nobody deserves millions and millions of dollars. Absolutely zero people deserve millions and millions of dollars. This topic really makes me angry. Nobody deserves that amount of money. And if you are sitting there hoarding it because you feel like that you earned it, that you deserve it, even though you didn't earn it, you got that money off the backs of the middle and lower class working their asses off for you. You manipulating people. You manipulating masses, or you inherited that money, and then when you got that money, you didn't do anything good with it. I hate rich people so fucking much. Rich people make me so fucking angry. You could donate $2 billion to feed my starving children or some shit, but if you have $6 billion left, it's not good enough. It will never be good enough. If you are hoarding that much wealth, if you are hoarding more wealth than you will ever need, you can go fuck yourself. No, they did not earn that wealth. Manipulating people is not earning. Of course, all the people saying that they earned that wealth are fucking capitalists. Honestly, fuck capitalists, dude. Fuck capitalists. Time to go on the not all rant, because we're gonna get to the straight white girls in a second. Stop getting defensive at fucking everything. If I call out a certain person or group of people for a bad behavior or behaviorism, the first thing you should do is reevaluate your own mannerisms. If you are that person or part of that group, the first thing you should do is not immediately react. Because when you do that, you make yourself look like Boo Boo the Fool. There needs to be an element of self-awareness. You need to reevaluate your own behaviorisms and be aware of your toxic actions, feelings, thoughts, etc. You need to be aware of them. You can't just react badly when someone calls you out every fucking time. The systems in your brain need to grow and adapt and fit in new pieces of information logically. For instance, when I generalize a group of people, like I like to generalize straight white girls, I obviously don't fucking mean all straight white girls. Logically, you can come to that conclusion because humans are very different from one another, and it's obvious that all people of a certain group aren't going to act the exact same way. Logically, you should come to the conclusion that I don't mean all straight white girls. I mean a certain subset of straight white girls that are basically almost as bad as straight white boys, which is another generalization. I should not have to say not all. I should not have to say that, because you should be able to come to the logical conclusion that that is implied. It is implied. And even if it is implied, chances are you have at least a small subset of those behaviorisms because you are part of that group. So I can't even say not all, even if I imply it. You still need to be self-aware of your own behaviorisms and what systems in your head are still functioning that should not be. You need to be continuously learning and growing. I will lose my fucking shit if I have to say not all one more goddamn time. I will not. I will not do it. And this is for things as serious as white people being racist to things not as serious as armies are crazy. Armies meaning BTS's fan base. I will not do it. I will not deal with it. You need to be able to use your thinky brain and come to that conclusion yourself. I am not going to write out each step for you in order for your brain to work properly. That's not how we're doing this in this household. There needs to be a very clear self-awareness, and I feel like the self-awareness in terms of your own behaviors and actions and how they affect other people isn't very high for a lot of people. And that's the biggest fucking problem, is people won't acknowledge their own faults and grow and change with them. And it's just so annoying. So if I say shit like, armies are annoying as fuck, your first reaction shouldn't be to defend them, because they are. Your first reaction shouldn't be, not all armies are annoying as fuck. No fucking shit, Sherlock. Really, I didn't know that everybody is a different human being and acts differently. Wow, congrats. Like, it's just so condescending to me when people respond with shit like that. I'm fully fucking aware, dude, I'm generalizing a group. It's just a group thing, it's a whole thing. I'm not doing individuals right now. I will not teach you how to be self-aware and understand logical processes like that, like I'm teaching a 2-year-old. You need to be able to come to that conclusion by yourself. I will not defend myself over things that could have been easily avoided if you had just used your brain. I feel like especially oppressed groups have a right to say that the group that is oppressing them sucks. But you bitches, because you are part of that group, get super fucking defensive instead of A, scrutinizing your own behaviorisms thoughts, etc. Or B, realizing that maybe they're not talking about you. However, if you get defensive, that makes me think they're talking about you. About like oppressive groups of people, like white people or men. Like women like to say men suck. And then men like to come in and go, not all men. Like, first of all, you are talking over women and their experiences. We aren't talking about you, shithead. Second of all, if you are a part of the oppressor group, whether that be white, man, etc., you have at least a smidgen of the behaviorisms that society instilled into you that made you an oppressor. Especially if you don't take a hard look at yourself and your behaviorisms as the oppressor and try to curb them constantly. So we can't even say not all sometimes. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And people will be like, there's another comment on the fucking computer and there's somewhere that says like, you can't generalize a whole group of people. Yeah, I can. There is generalizing a whole group of people that is inherently harmful, like putting stereotypes onto an oppressed group. And then there is generalizing a group of people in which you need to call out so that they look at their behaviorisms, thoughts, etc., and then change themselves for the better. I call you out because I want you to change. I don't call you out to be pissy at you. I call you out because I want you to change. And as for the people going, not all straight white girls do that shit, like literally fuck off. Most of the time in stan culture, straight white girls are the perpetrators of a lot of toxic behaviors, such as excessive shipping, gay fetishization, supporting racist gays, supporting racist people in general. Just shit like that is usually perpetrated by straight white girls. And also, straight white girls and like white gays that support other white gays that are racist. If you are gay and racist, you do not get a pass. You can literally go fuck yourself. Just like if you are a person of color and homophobic, you don't get a pass. You can literally go fuck yourself. I keep everyone to the same standard here. If you are transphobic, homophobic, misogynistic, or racist, get the fuck out. I don't want you here. Goodbye, bitch. Also, for the Billie Eilish song, there were a lot of people that were just kind of like explaining to me what I already knew about the song. Like, I know the song is about her wishing the dude was gay because she wanted there to be a different reason for him not liking her. That's still problematic. You're literally explaining to me what I already knew when I made the video. That's still problematic whether you like it or not. She's using queer people as a coping mechanism. No, you don't get to use queer people as a coping mechanism, friend. And there were a lot of people saying, oh, she was 12 through 14 when she wrote the song. First of all, why would you release a song that you wrote when you were 12 to 14? I would never do that. I feel like that's peak dumbassery, but whatever, man. I guess brave. Second of all, that doesn't really make it better because she still released it. And people were like, she says sorry in the song. Well, like, if she really was sorry, then she wouldn't have released it. Like, that's the whole issue here. If you were actually sorry, you wouldn't have released it. You wouldn't have used queer people as a coping mechanism. You wouldn't have tried to queer bait. And there are people like, it's just a song, chill. You say that as if art can't have impact. Art has impact, friend. Art tells me who you are as a person, and art can impact the fans. If you have a platform and you are using it for shitty things, that's not good. With that being said, because Billie is so young and she is one of those straight white girls I warn you about, I do still think we have hope for her, obviously. I do think you can grow and change, but the issue is there's no indication that she has. So until then, I'm going to be very wary of her because as a queer person, I don't condone that kind of shit. I'm not your coping mechanism. Or your porn. For the Billie Eilish thing where you said can't handle rejection and the rest after it, you're being super problematic and annoying, just saying no hate, I'm forward and blunt, sorry. No, I'm literally not. I sympathize with people that have been rejected, but being rejected doesn't mean you get to use queer people as a coping mechanism. That's not being able to handle rejection properly. Her coping mechanisms suck. It just tells me that her ego is just really big, that she just can't handle someone not liking her. So she has to use queer people as a coping mechanism because her ego can't handle it. That's shitty, dude. Sad girl aesthetic? What? I really love your content, but I think this really isn't right. I completely understand the amount of teens out there nowadays faking depression, self-harm, disorders for clout, etc. But music is a coping mechanism for most, and if Billie writes what she feels, then she writes about her depression. She has been writing like this since before she was even close to being big. So it's not as if she suddenly decided to hop on the bandwagon. It's not the look that she's trying to go for. It's not some trend that she's following. I think she's made it quite clear she's not one to follow the crowd, and therefore I don't think that she's trying to have a sad girl aesthetic. I think it's quite rude for someone to automatically think that an artist is faking depression to gain fans and join trends. Please keep in mind that I really respect all of your opinions, and even agree with you on your earlier point about her song. That's valid, if I meant it that way. If someone means sad girl aesthetic by someone faking depression and automatically thinking that everybody's faking depression, that is shitty. However, that is not what I meant. And I hate that I have to define the term sad girl aesthetic, but here we go. What I mean by sad girl aesthetic is not whether or not somebody has depression or not. That's actually not a part of it at all. It's just kind of like the vibe. It is a feeling. The sad girl aesthetic is a feeling. The sad girl aesthetic is basically just, I'm 14 and this is deep. Basically just going you think you're all that deep, but you're really not, kind of thing. I'm trying to articulate this, but it's kind of hard to articulate because the sad girl aesthetic is a feeling. It's not something concrete. It's basically just being pretentious, I guess. And it's not like she's problematic for doing that. Nobody's problematic for having a sad girl aesthetic. That part of the video was actually an opinion that you could disagree with me on, and I'd be like, okay. Because some people like the sad girl aesthetic. Some people use it to cope. That's totally fine. I don't like it personally, and I kind of want to stay away from it because I'm sick of it. But I'm also not going to say that it's bad and problematic, because there's literally nothing bad and problematic about it, unless you are doing the thing where you say you have a mental illness for clout, then it's problematic. But the I'm 14 and this is deep isn't necessarily problematic. And if you like it, that's cool. I mean, it's just kind of cringy, but I also don't like to use the term cringy, because cringe culture is just as bad as cancel culture and stan culture. I'm not keeping you guys from liking that aesthetic. You can do that. It's really okay. I just want to stay away from it just because it's just so prevalent and I get bored super easily. A lot of people that talk like they were above everybody in the comments for not getting into the drama and not getting into the people that they stan. And there was also a lot of shit about how they still listen to an artist even after all of the problematic shit that they've done. But if someone has done something inherently bad and you continue to buy their shit, give them power, give them attention, you are part of the problem. You are reinforcing that they can do absolutely anything with no consequences, and nobody will leave them. I personally believe that you cannot separate the art from the artist. Because first of all, as an artist myself, I put a piece of myself in every work that I do. You can't separate the art from the artist because the art is the artist. It is their baby. It is a piece of them. You can't say, oh, I don't support what they do, and then support their art. Because first of all, you're giving them money and attention, and there's no consequences, etc. But then you're also supporting a piece of them. Their art is them. It is an expression of themselves. You cannot separate that. Your opinions are a part of you, just like your art is a part of you. Your opinions make you. Your art makes you. And if you are shitty, they are shitty. If they are shitty, you are shitty. You cannot separate those types of things from the person. There are people that were inquiring nicely about it, and that's totally fine, but there are people just this is why I don't look into the people that I listen to. The people that you listen to could be murderers then. Why wouldn't you just look them up? Somebody pointed out that I've been into the content of J.K. Rowling, even though she's transphobic. And I would like to say that I'm personally trying to distance myself. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm trying to distance myself from the Harry Potter universe. Because I personally cannot separate the art from the artist. And it's uncomfortable to me. Like, everything about that is just so uncomfortable to me. Like, J.K. Rowling is a whole TERF, which is, if you don't know, trans exclusionary radical feminist, which literally, if you are a feminist and you don't include trans people into your feminism, you can shove a whole can of beans up your ass. Like, I'm not in the mood for this. Yeah, J.K. Rowling is a whole TERF, and I hate her, and I will make a video on it at some point, even though I don't think it's necessary now that I've said it. And now I can't, like, support her anymore because everybody's fucking dumb and ruins everything for me. Even if you will not keep the art and the artists together, how can you listen to people or get their shit after the shitty things they've done? Like, I can't listen to a Big Bang song anymore. I just can't. I hear Sungri's voice and I, like, curl into myself because of all of the shit he's done. Like, I just feel sick to my stomach. I don't know how you people can listen to people after knowing that they're shitty. I'm a straight white girl, and one of my best friends is gay, and I'm a Trump supporter. If you are not and want to hate on me, explain what Trump has said in office that was racist or anything. Also, what is wrong with supporting him? This is the comment that I think made me do this video. Because that was the dumbest shit I've ever read in my entire life. I didn't think it was possible to have less than -10 brain cells, but this person managed to do it. I'm not gonna cite to you where Trump has been racist, misogynistic, transphobic, homophobic, etc., because he is literally every day of his life. There is literally not one tweet of his that doesn't have one of these elements in it. Not only is he a rich person, he is like the example of the rich person that I would guillotine, but he's also like that. He literally called Mexicans dirty drug dealers. That's literally almost as racist as you can get. Also, people saying that they have a gay friend, or that they have a black friend, or that they have a female friend, or whatever, just because you have a friend doesn't mean you aren't racist, homophobic, transphobic, etc. In fact, someone said in the comments, I'm not going to go through and find it. Somebody said that, like, yes, Trisha Paytas is so homophobic. She's friends with Shane and Ryan, so homophobic. My father is decent to his 2 queer kids, but he's still homophobic. You are homophobic if you don't believe in that lifestyle. You are homophobic if you don't believe it's natural. You are homophobic if you think it's gross. You are homophobic if you want to cause harm or violence onto any of these people, including political violence, which includes wanting to bar them from equal rights. If you are any of those things, you are still homophobic. And that applies to racism, misogyny, etc. You are still a douchebag. You can be friends with these people as much as you want, but in the end, you are still a douchebag, and the friends that you have internalized depression, which is another topic I gotta go off on. Also, people think that you can, like, support one of Trump's policies and, like, be completely separated from his other policies. That's not how this works. You voted all of Trump in. You didn't vote one of his policies in. You voted all of Trump in. Which, okay, the Electoral College voted all of Trump in, but y'all got him into the primaries in the first place. So fuck you. If you support one policy of Trump, you support all of Trump. Everything he does, which includes racism, homophobia, misogyny, fucking concentration camps at the border, dude. Even if they were there before Trump, they were never this bad. Ever. Trump is making it 100 times worse than it was. Y'all are just sitting there going, they broke the law, so they deserve to fucking die, I guess. Yes, people that break the law in a very innocent way where they want to survive and go to a different country to survive deserve to die and get fucking dysentery in cages. Yes, children deserve to have dysentery in fucking cages because their parents wanted to survive. Do you know how fucking awful that sounds? Do you know how fucking awful you sound? You are literally the worst type of person, and I don't want you here. If you are a Trump supporter, leave. I don't want you here. And there are a lot of people that be saying, in fact, there was another comment that was like, aren't we all about tolerance here? Shut the fuck up. Let me introduce you to the tolerance paradox. I don't like the tolerance paradox, but it's a necessity. It's a necessity in society, or fascism. That's literally what happens if we don't have the tolerance paradox. If you were not intolerant of the intolerant, the people that are intolerant of innocent people will become even more intolerant because there's nobody keeping them in check. I like consistencies and logic too, but this paradox is a necessity. Or fascism. That's literally what's happening because there are people in the middle going, let's be tolerant of other people's opinions. No, your opinions hurt people. Your opinions hurt people. And if your opinions hurt people, you can go fuck yourself. If you're a Trump supporter, leave. If you think all opinions deserve respect, even if they hurt people, leave. I will not tolerate the dumbassery right here in my domain. I will gladly censor people that are hurting other people because you don't deserve a platform if you are hurting people. Literally go fuck yourself. And I don't want you here if you think Trump supporters can be good people. If you are a Trump supporter, you support Trump. Duh. Which means you support his policies. You support the evil that he has outed in the United States. I'm not saying that the evil wasn't there. Trump made it so bad people think that they can be bad people in public. Again, you are not allowed to be racist in public. I want racists to be afraid again. I will gladly punch a racist. Gladly. I will fucking brawl you, dude. I'm literally scared of nothing, not even death. Fucking brawl me, dude. That needed to be said. Trisha Paytas is a Trump supporter, and therefore she is trash, like all other Trump supporters. I will not deal with it. Sorry if this sounds rude, but can you please not refer to the LGBT community as the queer community? Not all of us are comfortable with being referred to as that term. This is a complicated topic because people that have been victimized by the term queer half the time are okay with using it and half the time are uncomfortable with using it. As a queer man, it is specifically my word. I get to take it back however I want to. Now, if we were in like a friendship and you specifically told me you do not want me to use the term queer around you, I would respect that. I would 100% respect that. Like, I'm not shitting on other LGBT people for wanting to be away from a term that they've been victimized with. However, this is not me talking to you personally. I am talking to a group of people, and I want to take the term queer back, just like black people have taken the N-word back. I like the term queer, personally. It's a very nice, broad term for the entire community. It doesn't leave anyone out, necessarily. I just wanted to say that I respect that you yourself do not want to take the term queer back. However, I have just as much power as you in that situation as a queer man to take it back if I want to. The LGBTQ plus community is a mouthful, and it just seems like something that we should force straight people to say. Oh, by the way, straight people, cishet people, you cannot use the term queer, because like this person has pointed out, it is in fact a slur, but we are taking it back like black people have taken back the N-word. Also, can I say something real quick? There are a lot of people, or a couple folks, I guess, in the comments that wanted to know what the T slur is, but I was kind of put into like a weird situation where like I didn't want to say the word, but like I wanted to educate these people. So if there's any trans folks that would like to go down in those comments and educate those people on what the T slur is, actually there's 2 T slurs. If you could do so, that would be lovely. I don't feel comfortable saying it even in education purposes. I don't know if that's going too far or not. I don't know. I personally just don't feel comfortable doing it. If trans people would like to do that, that would be lovely. You don't have to. But if you do, thank you for your contribution. I'm grateful for it because we got another person educated. So that's lovely. Thank you. One of those comments that I get was, I think I'll be sticking to the funny videos and not these unpopular opinions that I don't agree with. The passive-aggressive nature of those comments, the underlying demanding tone of those comments made me want to address this. This is happening with the Harry Potter videos as well. Friends, in the end, I'm going to make whatever I want. I appreciate the following I've amassed. over this past month. I appreciate your support and etc. There are a lot of you that are great, by the way. I'm actually kind of surprised by the amount of you that are very amazing. I expected so much worse. But if you use a demanding tone with me, it makes me want to make certain types of videos less. I'm using my platform to speak out at the same time as using my platform for funny ideas, etc. Because that is the duality of me. It was also kind of my plan all along to amass a following with Harry Potter videos and then hit you with that educational shit. You've been fooled, motherfucker. Don't demand, because then you will not receive. Like people asking for Hogwarts Houses as Humans 3. First of all, no, not for a while. I can't film weekly again until August. This situation was very rare and I didn't think it would happen. Second of all, if you keep demanding it, I'm not gonna wanna do it. I know you came for Harry Potter stuff, but I need you to also respect that I'm also kind of like backing away, if that makes sense. Like I'll joke about Hogwarts Houses and etc., but J.K. Rowling is shit, dude. I fucking hate J.K. Rowling. So it's a very difficult situation for me because I need to hold myself to my own standards where I say I need to cut off and not support the art of people that are shitty. And there's also just the element of I get bored of things very easily. I don't want to feel like I have to keep making Hogwarts Houses as Humans for the rest of my life because that's going to get very, very boring very fast. I suppose I want to keep making different types of content. So just don't be demanding, don't be passive aggressive. You subscribe to me, you signed up for this. I don't really care whether or not you like a certain type of video or not. If I ask you for an opinion on my content, then I will receive said opinion. God, these fucking comments. There were so many of these comments, but this is gonna open up another conversation. So, being an ass to straight white girls is accepted? You're a bit of a hypocrite, mate. I'm not being an ass to straight white girls because I have internalized prejudices against a group of people that never deserved it in the first place. I'm calling out straight white girls so that they know what behaviorisms are not acceptable. Because straight white girls, once again, are the perpetrator or a lot of stan culture's shitty. So I'm calling them out because I have hope for them, because I think they will listen to me. There's a reason I don't call out straight white boys often, because I have zero hope for straight white boys. Straight white boys won't listen to anyone, and I've accepted that at this point. Straight white women I have hope for, and I want them to know what is shitty and what isn't shitty. And I'm going to tell you if you're shitty or not. And once again, generalizations aren't necessarily inherently bad if you are talking about an oppressor group. Because that oppressor group, all of them need to hear that message. All of them need to hear that message, whether they've worked on themselves or not. The oppressor group, which would be the whiteness and the straightness in this situation, need to hear that. Because you need to look at your own behaviorisms and say, hey, maybe I shouldn't do that anymore. I'm calling you out so you can better yourself. I'm not calling you out for shits and giggles. When you are generalizing an oppressor, it is to educate them and to show them that you will not take their shit. Oh my god, you're so fucking annoying about these things. You need time to think and then see that not everything is a fucking attack. I really like you and your channel, but bitch, calm the fuck down. And BTW, pansexuality does not exist. Ooh. Nobody has critical thinking skills. These are one of these people that think that everybody's too sensitive nowadays, and that everybody gets offended too much nowadays. It's not that we're oversensitive or that we're offended too much. It's just that shitty things that people have done in the past when the standards were low are not okay. And they've never been okay. They've literally never been okay, but the standards were so low that anyone could get away with anything. You should not be able to get away with shitty things in general. And a lot of things are an attack. They really are. Because society is built around the oppression of people. Society of the oppressor benefits off the oppression of people. A lot of things in this world are an attack. You just won't acknowledge it because you're a lazy fuck. that doesn't want to acknowledge that people are shitty and you don't want to make yourself a better person. In fact, a lot of these people saying things like, oh, y'all are too sensitive. That's literally just because you're too lazy to look at your own behaviorisms and change yourself for the better and call other people out. You just don't want to be held accountable for your actions. Just don't be a shitty person. It's really fucking simple. You need to acknowledge that oppression exists and the oppressor exists, and then you need to figure your shit out from there. And it's ironic that people always say shit like this, because it's like, y'all are acting like me calling people out is an attack on you. Y'all are also oversensitive about it. Y'all always respond to shit like this with, y'all are oversensitive. Y'all are so offended all the time. Not everything's an attack. You're literally doing the same thing, but like more stupid and no critical thinking skills whatsoever. Also, she said pansexuality didn't exist, which that just tells me right away she's a shitty person, because usually people that think pansexuality doesn't exist think only bisexuality exists, which means that they only think that there's two genders. And if you only think that man and women are the only two genders, first of all, your view on gender is wrong. It's just wrong. I don't know how to tell you, friend. I know gender is a very abstract concept to understand, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. If you're a Trump supporter and you think there are two genders, leave. And considering I'm now going to get a comment saying, oh, there's only two genders. Same thing with the you can be racist towards white people comments. I will delete your fucking comment. I will not take it. You aren't welcome here. This is my domain, and your viewpoint hurts people. And in my domain, if your viewpoint hurts people, it is not allowed. Go be a douchebag somewhere else. I don't want you here. Try to look yourself in the mirror. I do every day. Okay, passive-aggressive joke aside, I've already said that I, overanalyze everything I do. I'm fully aware of everything that I do. Oh, found the comment where it's like, oh, love and acceptance. I'll just read it, but I've already said what I've said on this. Okay, the hating because of being a Trump supporter. Why? I thought we were all about love and acceptance. Is a Trump supporter somehow incapable of being accepting, open, and kind? Yes. Yes. If you support someone that is actively trying to strip away the rights of people and just being overall a shitty human being and enacting that into our politics, you are also a shitty human being. Elaborate on why someone who has a different political opinion would immediately be a terrible person. Already did that because they're hurting people. Different political opinion, people are like, I have a different political opinion than you and that's why you hate me. No, I hate you because your political opinion is inherently harmful. If you are harmful towards people, I hate you. It's that fucking simple. Why is that not an inherent logical process? I don't understand why you think you can separate the person from the political view. No, your political view and your person are the same. Also, reading your rant below in the comments saying white people can't experience racism is a horrible thing to say. It hurts seeing that. The very definition of racism is being prejudiced against a particular race because of the color of their skin. Being in place of power does not put up a shield against racism. When I was in 6th grade, I'm about as old as you now, I was harassed and bullied by a group of kids who consistently called me pasty white cracker and words that I would not like to mention that honestly destroyed my self-worth. They would kick rocks at me. I would dodge ice during the winter, threaten to beat my weak, I can't read that, and my father's who had a disability. The principal, who was made aware of this by my mom, put a couple of them in school detention for a day. That was it. It went on a whole freaking school year. It was hell. And if you look at that and just call that slight prejudice, then I don't know what to say. I'm very sorry that that happened to you. That is very shitty. And those people are shitty. Those people are awful, and I'm so sorry that that happened to you. Bullying is a real problem, and people seem to make it into a joke now. That's mostly because of the anti-bullying campaigns. Now Generation Z sort of makes fun of the term bullying because they've shoved it down our throats in the wrong way. And now we make fun of that term. But it is a very real thing, and I am so sorry that that happened to you. That's literally awful. However, your race does not stop you from getting a job. Your race does not get you killed by police. Your race is overly represented in politics. You aren't in danger of being deported right now. And overall, in the end, and on a general basis, you have more power in society. What these people did have is prejudice, but like I said in the comments, there is prejudice, there is racism. You have to be prejudiced to be racist, but you do not have to be racist to be prejudiced. A square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square. So yes, there was prejudice involved, and I don't know the background behind that, and that was very shitty. But in the end, racism was not a part of that. Sometimes shitty people just do things because they want to, not for any inherent reason. I'm not undermining your experience. I think that that's awful, and I'm so sorry that that happened to you. But that is not racism. That's prejudice. And here's the thing about the definition of racism. On my second Unpopular Opinions video, when I explicitly stated you cannot be racist towards white people, there were a lot of smartasses that instead of inquiring and asking, they dropped the Google definition of racism in the comments. Wow, congrats. You figured out that Google is free. They finally did it, folks. I'm so proud. Here's the thing about definitions. Language is chaos. Language has no rules. School will try to teach you that language has rules, but in the end, language is fluid and chaotic. Nothing about language has stayed the same over the several centuries. We speak completely differently now than Shakespeare had spoken. The word eyeball was not even invented until Shakespeare was like, hey, eyeball. And everybody was like, eyeball. So what I'm saying is, a definition might be a good place to start. But for situations like this, definitions are not a good place to end. And this is a case-by-case basis. There are certain situations where the definition is perfectly fine, and adding more to that definition is actually inherently harmful. For instance, the use of the word triggered. You've turned it into a slang word to mean offended, etc., when it's a medical term, and it should have stayed a medical term. It should have stayed its first defined term. But now you are harming people. The exact opposite is with racism. Staying with the first definition is inherently harmful and pretty wrong. Words grow and change over time, and history and climate, culture, etc., don't necessarily get factored in to some of those definitions, because definitions are very concrete. Definitions are a very concrete way to explain an abstract subject such as language. When it comes to the term racism, you cannot stop at the definition. Saying that you can be racist towards white people is like saying heterophobia is real. It's like saying misandry is real. It's not real. I think it is actually quite warranted for the oppressed group to hate the oppressor. Like, literally, that makes sense. Of course you would hate someone that oppresses you. They're oppressing you. That just makes sense. And does not necessarily constitute a phobia or etc. Because these people don't hate you because of something that you cannot change. These people hate you because you're oppressing them. I feel like there's an inherent difference between those two things. The oppressor is oppressing you because of the way you are as a person, but the oppressed hates you because you're oppressing them because of the way they are as a person. I feel like there's a very, very distinct difference between those two. And in the case of racism, I think white people being able to claim racism is just inherently harmful for the culture in general. White people have the upper hand in society. White people benefit off of the suffering of the oppressed, and they aren't doing anything about it. White people do not get denied jobs for being white. They do not get killed systematically for being white. They are not detained for being white. And they are majorly represented in our political and economic system because they are white. There is a whole underlying systematic racism that we just can't see. I suggest watching the 13th, I believe it was called, on Netflix. God, there was another one that just came out that was amazing. If you are not aware of how systematic it is. My camera died. I don't know, I went off about how capitalism is racist, but honestly, I don't think I need to put that in the video anyways, because I'm going to address it at some other point. Overall, what I'm trying to say is white people aren't oppressed. On a general basis, there's no reason for a white person to need to claim racism. There's just no reason for it. Like in the situation with the bully and etc., I don't think there was a necessity to need to claim racism at that point. That was just shitty people. There wasn't like a systematic thing or etc. There's just no need to do so by white people. If we allow white people to claim racism, even though they are not oppressed in any way, white people will end up talking over people of color and their experiences with dumb bullshit. And I have seen this several times. People of color will be like, hey, white people are racist. And then white people will go, that's racist. You call me racist? That's racist. That kind of situation is a white person talking over a person of color's experience. A white person doing shit like that is basically another silencing tactic. It is white people going, you're telling me your experiences, but I don't like it, so I'm going to tell you that you need to stop. Letting white people do that is not a good idea, and never will be a good idea. And in the end, black people or like people of color joking about like how white people can't handle spices or how white people can't dance will never be on the same level as white people killing black people. Not even close. Not even close to being the same. Systematic oppression and someone making fun of you for not being able to handle spices will never be on the same level. Boo fucking who? Black people are making fun of you even though you fucking oppressed them for centuries. I'm going to play a sad song on my tiny violin. White people being able to claim racism is just too much power that they don't deserve, and also isn't logically sound in the end. Having white people being able to claim racism is overall hurting more than it is helping. Nobody has critical thinking skills. Like, I understand there are like more intense situations like the bullying situation that we've described, but in the end, economically, socially, politically, over a broad spectrum, you still have more power than them. Were they shitty? Absolutely. I don't condone their behaviors. They can literally go fuck themselves. I'm so sorry that happened to you. But I also don't think being able to claim racism in that situation is a good idea. I think claiming bullying in that situation is a great idea because that's what it is, bullying. I feel like there's a much bigger picture here that you're missing out on, and you're only focusing on the white and cracker incidences. Okay, I think we're almost done. This comment actually made me laugh. Like, I was having a hearty chuckle about this for like several days because like I straight up can't tell if this is satire or if like this is someone genuinely like thinking like this. Either way, it's fucking funny. The confusion it gave me made it funnier. I agreed until the speciesism started. Oh, that's good. Oh, I'm crying, dude. That's fucking good. Let's play Find the Vegan. I win. Sure, speciesism is kind of a thing because humans like to think that they're like high and mighty, but in the end, your own species will come before other species. We need to fix our shit before we can fix other species shit. And this comment was in response to me saying there should have been people unstanding him then for being racist, just as much as there were people unstanding him for him molesting his cat. If you didn't unstand him for racism, but you unstand him for molesting his cat, that just tells me you're a white person that doesn't give a shit about people of color. I feel like that's self-explanatory. And that brings me in to the next comments, there were some people that were trying to be edgy fucks and saying like, I hate all humans. Bleh, not just people of color. Bleh. Okay, we get it, edgelord. Me too. But like, that doesn't give you a right to unstan over a cat, but not racism. I don't know, I just hate that kind of edgy shit. Like, I hate humans. Like, that's literally not the point. That's not the point I'm trying to make. I feel like that's not something that I should have to explain. Honestly, there's so many more dumb comments I could read and go through. Because there's just so many logical fallacies that I don't understand. Like, for instance, somebody said that I can't hate on someone for supporting a president that's in office. I need you to think about that one for a second. I really need you to sit down and think about that one for a second. Please just use the thinky brain. Just a little bit. That's all I'm asking. But the last thing I want to address before this video is finally fucking over. In the end, I do say about topics related to minorities, the minority in question does have the final say. I've always sort of said that because I don't want to talk over people, if that makes sense. I don't want to speak for people and I don't want to talk over people. I just want to relay what I know, etc. And I will tell you when I'm like, but in the end it is a black person's choice whether or not to forgive them or not, etc. I think with that being said, we need to address a certain type of minority group that makes this difficult. People that have internalized oppression. Internalized oppression is a very sad instance where a minority group of people will accept their oppression, not do anything about it, not talk about it, say that it doesn't exist, say that it's okay, and side with their oppressor. It makes me so sad when I see that. Because the system has gotten to you, friend. The oppressor has officially gotten to you. And this can happen for any group that is oppressed. You can have internalized misogyny. You can have internalized homophobia, transphobia. You can have internalized white supremacy. And it's very easy to spot these people in the comments because they will say that things that are inherently harmful aren't harmful and that they're okay with it. These people just want to be accepted by their oppressor so bad that they will accept their own oppression. And it's just so crazy to me. You will never find me licking straight people's assholes. Straight people can literally fuck off. For instance, I worked with someone that had some internalized homophobia. She was a lesbian, and she went off about how she thought pride wasn't necessary because gay people have it okay in the US, but it's much worse other places. First of all, I hate that argument about mostly everything, as if we shouldn't keep fighting for the best possible outcome, even if it is shittier somewhere else. Like, so we're not gonna fight for the best possible outcome here because other places have it shitty? That just sounds like keeping everything stagnant. How are we supposed to help them if we're still in a bad place? Not the point. If you say pride isn't necessary, you sound like a heterosexual. You also aren't acknowledging the oppression that goes on in your group. The oppression of lesbians is very real. The oppression of gay people is very real. Most of our homeless youth are gay people. Let that sink in. Do not sit here and tell me, amidst a whole state banning a gay rat wedding from being on TV, that we don't need to be out and proud about our identities. Because it is necessary still. That lesbian couple that was assaulted in Britain, that happens every day. That one just got televised. Corrective rape for lesbians and ace people happens every day, just not televised. There is shit going on every day that you do not see, but because you want to lick your oppressor's asshole so badly, you're going to sit here and deny the experiences of your fellow queer. You're denying your own oppression just to lick the asshole of your oppressor, when all the oppressor wants to do is keep you docile, like you're being now. I'm not going to conform to what the oppressor wants me to be. The oppressor can shove it. You will never find me doing that. I'm going to take what I deserved the entire time, much like you should take what you deserved the entire time. I'm not gonna sit here and beg. for what we deserved in the first place. They're like holding our rights in a crate saying, if you aren't nice and don't listen to us, you can't have these. Like, no, fuck you. That was mine in the first place. My rights were mine in the first place. You don't get to hoard them and tell me to be nice. No, I'm not gonna be nice to you. I'm not going to do as you want. I'm not going to act as you want to get what I deserved in the first place. And I implore that other minorities do the same, because we should not submit to them. Submitting to them is it's cowardice. Internalized homophobia, internalized oppression in general is both a coping mechanism, a survival technique, but it's also cowardice. I understand why it happens, but I'm now telling you to stop. I'm now telling you to rise above. I'm now telling you to fight. I understand why you're doing the things you do, but that does not make it right. You are talking over your fellow queer, your fellow black person, your fellow person of color, your fellow woman, etc. Just because someone accepts their oppression does not make it right. So I just want to put that out there in the future for when I say, ultimately, black people have the ultimate say on black issues, etc. Yes, black people have the ultimate say on black issues, etc. But when I say that, I mean like educated black people that acknowledge their oppression. Because I'm going to be real with you, I don't want to side with another minority or take the word of another minority that just kind of accepts their oppression and licks the asshole of the oppressor. I kind of want to not be involved in that. So if we could not do that, Lord, I talk so much I'm like shaking and I'm about ready to faint. So I should probably go eat a fucking bagel. Oh, that was so much. I don't know how I'm going to edit that down. That was so much. I'm so sick of everyone's shit, and I'm upset I had to explain all of that. But I also felt it was necessary. So it is what it is. We have a new slogan on this channel: educate, not debate. I will not debate you if you just opinion drop in the comments. Ah yes, your useless opinion that harms people. Please keep it away from me at all times. I will not debate you. I owe you nothing. However, if you inquire nicely about it, I will try to educate you as best I can with the knowledge I have. Because I think further educating yourself is a very respectable thing to do. And I respect that a lot. Inquire or get set on fire.